right, this is an example that kind of ties everything we spoke about in terms of triangles together. And it's an example of a boss question. And a boss question is like a monster question. It's like a really hard question that ties everything together, all of your skills. So if you want to pause the video and attempt this, go for it. I'm going to break it down right now. So when you look at this triangle, what I notice is I'm given two lengths of 10 and an angle of 22.5. Now, if two lengths are 10, that means two angles are the same as well, which means this angle is also 22.5 because it's across from this 10 and this is across from this 10. That takes up 45 of the 180 degrees in this interior, which leaves 135 degrees for this angle down here. Now, the area of a triangle like this, where it has an obtuse angle, is the base of 10 times a height that can be created by dropping down an imaginary line. And when I drop down this imaginary line, I get a right angle here. Now, this angle is 135, which means this angle has to be 45 in order to add up to 180 around that angle like this. So that's 45, this is 90, which means that this must also be 45. And all of a sudden I've got a 45, 45, 90, and we know the ratio of the sides there are x to x to x root 2. Now the 10 is the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is the x root 2 part. So that makes it a little tricky because we know x root 2 is equal to 10, which means x is actually equal to 10 divided by root 2. And this brings us to one of my favorite tricks, and we discussed this in the arithmetic video related to multiplying by 1. But if you multiply the top and bottom by root 2 here, you will cancel out the root 2 on the bottom and get 10 root 2 over 2 because these two root 2's combine to make a 2, which gives you 5 root 2. So I can think of this as 10 over root 2 or as 5 root 2. It's the same thing. And that times the base of 10 divided by 2 gives me my answer. And so my answer to this question is 25 root 2 is the area of this triangle. So you have to first use the information you've been given to extend and figure out additional information about the shape, and then follow all the rules and principles that we've covered, and make sure to remember to drop down that exterior triangle that we created here with this right triangle. And it's a pretty tough question, but it's completely doable. Practice makes perfect, and you can definitely do this in 2 minutes if you know what you're trying to do.